Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I've got a fresh video for you today, and I think you're really going to like this one. Alright, let me dive in. Today I'm talking about the classic American debate V6 versus V8. I've owned both a Cadillac with a 3.6 V6 and a Charger with a 5.7 Hemi V8. So it's straight from my personal experience. I'll play a few sound clips and you tell me in the comments which one do you think is the V6 and which one is the V8. So let's start with the sound clips. Confused? Alright, moment of truth. I kind of pulled up a fast one on you guys. The first two clips were intentionally swapped, and the last two had the actual audio. Let me see how many of you guys spotted it, and if you did, consider yourself a proper car audio detective. So, the Dodge Charger, of course, it's the iconic muscle car which is still in production. Of course, the new one is does not have a V8, and there are talks that the new one might get a V8. We still don't know, but this last generation, which all of us are well aware about, this car, I mean, it will force you to misbehave with that engine, with that power. Even the 5.7, man, it's a beast on its own. The torque, the low end torque, the way it drives, and still looking so mean, so aggressive. It is amazing. It is amazing. Now, for all the nerds out there, these are some of my numbers and some of the calculations which I have done. And of course, I'll be coming back a lot to this as we go along. It's really the engines that we are talking about here. And honestly, the Cadillac is a masterpiece. It looks stunning. It feels refined. That interior, proper premium with leather everywhere. And the infotainment, the fit and finish, it's amazing. The mind you, the Dodge has its own charm too, but on the luxury side, it does not quite touch the Cadillac. And this video is strictly engine to engine from a user perspective. With the Dodge, it almost feels like they built the engine first and suddenly realized we need a car around this engine now. So, what you get is this monster engine wrapped in a pretty cool body. Don't get me wrong, the design is gorgeous by itself, but the engine has such a personality of its own that the rest of car just feels like it's trying to keep up. And about the fuel economy, a lot of people panic thinking of a V8 and a V8 will bankrupt them. Honestly, it depends on how you drive. Yes, the car is constantly tempting you to be naughty, but if you behave, it behaves. You can daily a V8 as long as you're sensible and actually look after it. One thing the Charger is going for is its Dodge cylinder deactivation, or as they call it, the multi displacement system. It basically shuts off half of the cylinders and runs as a four cylinder when cruising. Not the quickest feeling in that mode, but it helps with the fuel savings. And now, when you look at my range, my Cadillac used to go around 550 to 600 kilometers per fuel tank, and with a mix of highway and city. The Charger gives me around 480 to 530. Again, I'm not going crazy pulls every day, so my mileage might scream or cry depending on how heavy my foot is. So the difference in economy between the Cadillac's V6 and the 5.7 with the cylinder deactivation is not even 100 kilometers. That's really interesting. It's what, maybe barely about for 60 miles, 70 miles from a V6 to a V8. Interesting, isn't it? And you know the best part? I get the glorious V8 soundtrack. Don't get me wrong. The Cadillac's V6 actually sounded fantastic on its own. But we all know a proper V8 burble just hits differently, isn't it? That sound is literally what sold me the moment I took the Charger for a test drive. Even when it's idling, it has this angry and intimidating rumble, like it's telling the traffic kindly, move out of the way. That's the charm of this engine. But what I love just as much as its rumble, how calm it gets when you just want to cruise. The moment the car shifts into four-cylinder mode, you don't even realize it. Except suddenly you can't hear the rumble anymore. Tap the accelerator and a little boom, and the full V8 wakes up. It's like having two personalities in one engine, and I'm here for it. And just to be clear, I'm not comparing this thing to a tiny four cylinder from Japan or Korea that sips fuel like it's green tea. Come on. Of course, the V8 won't beat those at all. What I'm saying is, if you're choosing between a V6 and a V8, and the V8 comes with cylinder deactivation, just do yourself a favor and pick the V8. You get that glorious burble and you won't have to sell a kidney for fuel. Plus, how many proper V8s are even left out there these days unless you go full exotic or buy a German spaceship? And then you need to take another loan just to service your spaceship. And so, let's just not go there. If you're torn between a V6 sedan and a V8 sedan, here's the cheat sheet. Check the weight. Check if the V8 actually shuts its cylinders off. And remember, it has to be apples to apples. You cannot go ahead and compare a V6 sedan with a V8 SUV and then cry about fuel economy. Wah, wah. In some cases, the V6 might look close on mileage, but honestly, when you compare properly, the gap isn't massive. We're talking about engines, curb weight, and whether the engine is actually chilling or working like it's carrying bricks up the hill. And I think that pretty much covers it at a very high level. Yes, I have shown a bunch of stats because the car nerds out there, including me, love staring at numbers like we are reading treasure maps. That's why I have kept everything visible on screen. I didn't hide anything. So, to wrap this up, if you're stuck choosing and the V8 has cylinder deactivation and the comparison is apples to apples with the same brand or even different brands but similar weights, honestly, do yourself a favor and pick the V8. You only live once, and your ears deserve the soundtrack. On that note, I'll shut up because I've been talking a lot and let you listen to what my brain hears every time I start this thing.